Hello everybody and welcome to episode 3 of Why I Do What I Do, Thoughts of a Grandmaster Mercy. We are slowly working our way through the different types of maps that you are going to encounter in competitive Overwatch. So far we've done a review on a King of the Hill map and a 2 control point. Now we're doing one on a hybrid, which is Hollywood, where you actually have to capture the point before pushing the payload. There are a lot of mistakes in this game, both on my own part and my team's part, so I thought it would be interesting to review this game in particular to try to help us understand what went wrong and how we can prevent these types of mistakes in the future. Okay, so starting off a match, if our Reinhardt is going to fire strike, I like to try to damage boost him right away. It kind of helps him just build his ult up a little quicker if he does hit something, which he does not. Now, our Reinhardt just lost us the point. Instead of coming back with his shield up, he stands there for a little bit. I think he was probably wanting to fire strike again, but they have an Ana. Their Ana slept him. Our second tank, which is Zarya, does try to come up and help him. However, she ends up bubbling Lucio instead of Reinhardt, and our Reinhardt gets antied and killed instantly. So now we're getting pushed really hard. They've got our main tank down. I'm struggling to back up and keep everybody healed and watch our flank at the same time. I don't necessarily want to go on point because I don't want to die, but our entire team is backing off the point and just giving them free space to roam. Trying to keep our McCree up. I really want to go heal our Lucio. Try to heal Zarya here. Lose her. McCree's taking a nap on the job. Genji is unable to finish killing him, which is nice. But he does die to Zarya afterwards. It almost feels like we kind of even out a little bit here. Our Reinhardt's back, but we're not. Ow, hello, pause. Let's pause that. So what happened there is our Junkrat threw bombs into a deflecting Genji, which in turn landed on me, and that kind of sucked. So our Reinhardt's asleep again. Part of our team's still coming back from spawn. So far, I'm not entirely certain how they haven't managed to get a ticket. I think we've been keeping somebody on it just long enough, but it's not looking good. We're already very, very scattered and staggered. So I just get res. One of our teammates goes down. And that's a horrifying sight. So I look up and I notice that, I mean, you can look up and notice that the 2 teammates that are down are Lucio and Junkrat. Junkrat, right now, not necessarily a key target to res, but the Lucio definitely is. I know that I am probably going to die to this Genji blade, and I would much rather res and get 2 more people on point and have myself die than have me die with res and have 3 of us off. It's kind of a last-ditch effort to try to keep us on this point at this time. So I res, get away from Genji, try to heal Reinhardt, who dies again. And as I back up here, I notice that we've still got, let's go ahead and launch touch. See if I can catch it. So as I'm backing up here, I was able to notice that we still have 2 people that aren't anywhere near the point. They're actually fighting back there towards our spawn instead of pushing towards point. As soon as I saw that they weren't actively pushing for point, I knew the point was lost and I probably should not have rezzed there. I fully expected those 2 teammates that were respawning to come back to point. I end up having really not anybody. I'm asking for people to get on point. Our Lucio's trying to stay on point. And we're lost at that point. It's just done. It was just a chain reaction from our Reinhardt going down until then. So we try to reset. We still have a Junkrat. We need to group back up. I'm trying to figure out where I need to be right now because our team is so scattered. Get some heals on McCree. Okay, I want to go damage boost our Junkrat and I want to support our tanks. And high ground is fantastic. But then our D.Va leaves. And leaves our Zarya completely by herself. Zarya cannot tank on her own without somebody there. We're scattered, our D.Va's gonna go down. I need to get heals on her, but I also don't want to get too close to the Junkrat, and I'm hacked. I'm so dead here. not a whole lot I can do. We have not actually actively regrouped as a team since this game started, and that is why I think we are struggling so hard. Our tanks aren't pushing together, our Zarya is desperately trying to be on payload to stop things. I want to heal people, but everybody's so scattered, and around that first point, it's so easy to just be out of my sight that there isn't much I can do to help anyone. So now we have a Winston, which is kind of nice against their comp. He's taking on Sombra over there. I'm trying to keep our diva in mech as she's getting pushed, which I fail to do. We start getting some kills, which is really, really nice. Our Junkrat comes through and gets a bunch of kills for us because they're all huddled up on the payload. And we finally start to stabilize here. Finally get their healers down. Not allowing Ana to just kind of stand in the back and heal all the damage that our team is trying to do. And we group up, and we're doing okay. I've changed our comp up a little bit. Hopefully we can start working now. Payload's back here. Gotta get some heals on Tracer. I want to stay on high ground, because I know they have a Genji who is coming to find me now. So what I did here is I tried to bait the Genji off the roof, which worked, and I jumped back up to our Winston thinking, hey, Winston is going to be able to take care of Genji. Genji jumps back up, kills me. Winston tries to follow him, but Winston's ulting, and ulting Winston is very, very unlikely to actually kill a Genji. Genji just gets away from it all. I wish our Winston had just stayed out of his ulting form, out of Rage Monkey here, and tried to stay on that Genji with his little Tesla cannon, as opposed to going into rage mode. Now, I'm not too worried because I died with res. Our spawn is really close right here. I should still be able to get back somewhat in time. We've got one pick on the Hog, which is good because he's been doing a lot of work. So I'm coming back. I'm telling my team that I have res. I want to get heals on Winston, but I also want to hang back in case we need to res. So I'm going to go res these two. Healer and tank, totally worth the double res. Genji's coming for me, and sadly I was not within range of our Tracer to fly as soon as I wanted to. It took me an extra second, which got me killed. Our Winston's getting some work done. He's got both of their squishies down, but then he gets whole hogged. I don't have res, and it's just squishies out there. Our Lucio did drop beat, which is good, but they're all anti, which doesn't matter. Oh, Lucio. I hate fighting the new Lucio as Mercy. If I hadn't had to reload there, I would have killed him. He went in and got... We're gonna pause here. So he went in, and I thought he was gonna go for the health pack, or heal up a little bit. I wanted to just get out of there. I don't have time to be fighting with him. I ended up pressing a wrong key on my controller and ended up crouching instead of flying, and it got me killed. Woohoo, fun times. And Warwick, our whole team is down. So now, we still don't have res because I haven't had a chance. They got the checkpoint, and we all have bad spawns, so we're gonna get punished for that. I'm trying to tell our Winston that there's a Genji behind us. He does not turn around and take care of it at all. Genji's in our backline again. The whole first part of this defense, from what I can tell after having watched this video a few times, trying to figure out what I could have done better, because I tend to do that with most of my games, and we were basically ignoring our flankers the entire time. We let them just hang out in the back and do what they wanted. And we really needed to be taking care of the flankers and the healers and then focusing down the tanks. And we weren't really doing either. We were always so focused on trying to stop the payload that we were just fighting the tanks on payload while their flankers were taking out our healers, and their healers just sat in the back and healed whatever damage we were trying to do to the tanks. Now I'm trying to build res back up here, trying to stay out of the way of all the damage. Genji's just sitting back here. Again, people ignoring him. I want to get heals on D.Va. She gets out of mech fast. We end up picking up a Pharah, which gives me a little bit more mobility, but we really, I think we needed either a soldier or another flanker. I think we should have kept the Tracer maybe, or get a Genji of our own or something. So that res that I did right there was literally a res just to keep myself alive so we could heal. Every other time that I have rezzed throughout this match, most of what has happened is I have rezzed and we have been wiped again because our team isn't doing anything with the rezzes. So I made the decision this time to res to save my life and try to keep healing my teammates to hopefully keep us in the fight a little bit longer instead of dying to this Genji, because I was obviously going to. He was coming for me. I mean, you can see him over there, his little angry red self. Not to mention the Pharah gets me off the ground. And I'm trying to keep support on our team. But again, we're not focusing what we need to focus. Now, my res did make them use Beat Drop and EMP. And then they already used, I believe they used Nano Blade. So they used 4 ults for my 1 res, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Just firing a little bit to try to get a little bit of ult charge. I don't want to get hacked by Sombra. So, I had no idea there was McCree over there. There was never a call out. I didn't see him at all. And I insta-died to him. He landed a couple of nice headshots and I was gone. I also didn't realize they had switched to a McCree. I was so flustered at this point in the game that my positioning was getting sloppy. I didn't notice when I checked the character screen that they had switched to a McCree. And so I should have imagined they would switch to something like that just to deal with the Pharah that we ended up picking up. And I died for it. I'm calling out that McCree is back there at this point because he's basically spawn camping us, and I'm hoping somebody will deal with it, but everybody's so focused on the payload right now that he doesn't get dealt with. And he kills me as soon as I go out the door again. Because I just focus on that. I want to kill him. I got headshotted, tried to fight him. Wasn't working. I am so flustered at this point that I'm actually going to switch off of Mercy. Because I don't think it's helping. So my reason for switching to Zenyatta was I was pretty sure I wasn't going to make it out there to help, regardless, to get on the point. But if I did, I wanted us to have more killing power because I didn't feel like we were able to kill things fast enough. And I was hoping that between Discord and my ability to actually shoot things and heal at the same time with Zenyatta would help us get a little bit more done. So our whole defense just was awful. We were staggered, we weren't killing enough fast enough, we were letting their healers just chill in the back and do their thing while we completely ignored their flankers that were killing our healers over and over again. I'm hoping that our attack will be a little bit different. We don't have the Junkrat anymore. I was curious if there was a laser in there, but it was gone. We don't have the Junkrat anymore, we have a Genji instead. And we've already gotten 1 pick. The Symmetra's down. Genji goes and gets a 2nd pick. Mercy's down. Our attack's looking phenomenal. I want to heal Winston. Can't see him. He, of course, jumps away from me. But he's doing okay. We've got heals down. We're on payload. And we've actually managed to take this point pretty quickly. I'm going to miss getting heals on Zarya fast enough. Feels bad, man. I should have been paying closer attention to her, but I was watching the back of point. Our Genji got us some really good picks, and our Genji was the Junkrat in the first round, so I kind of wish he would have gone Genji on defense just to fuss with their healers a bit. So we took that point faster than they took ours, which is really awesome. I want to move payload. Look, free Sombra. I want to move payload, but I also want to be out there to support. I'm letting the two people who are out there, Genji and Winston, know that both of their healers are currently on payload. I'm going to start stretching forward to try to get heals on people. I've got res. Hang back. Keep an eye on everybody. We're just pushing the payload for free right now because our Winston and Genji are so far forward, which is actually really nice. They're having to deal with them. Our soldier goes down to D.Va over there, but we did get a pick out of his tac visor. So, right here, you can see that I've got Winston down and I had soldier down, and I'm kind of looking frantically around trying to see if there's a way I could pick up both of them. Soldier ends up respawning before I could really figure that out. And I decide that it's not worthwhile to solo res our Winston, so I just back up. So, again, I've got one person down and I've got others on critical. We just had the D.Va bomb go off. I want to fall back and heal these criticals, and I'm still not going to res yet. So we've got 2 down. I'm hacked. I'm going to back off. 1 respawn. Now we have 3 down. And Sombra's right here. So I actually make the decision to go ahead and res even though we're right at point, because I want us to push them because they are so terribly out of position thinking that they have us on numbers. So we push forward and our team re-engages with beat and we start trying to do some work. I'm going to sit back here and fight Sombra for a second because I can't really fly to teammates. She leaves. So one of the best things about Sombras is if you can make them take enough damage to where they're scared they're actually going to lose the gunfight, they'll just leave you alone. They'll just zip away and you can go on about your business. So a lot of the times if you can't fly to a teammate or you don't have anybody close enough to you to use to block her, basically use as a meat shield and block her bullets from hitting you, pulling out your pistol and fighting her and landing your shots will a lot of the times get her to just leave you alone because Sombras don't want to die. They'll just transport away or use a little teleporter thing and you can go on about your business. Get up in the air away from the grav. Put some damage on our soldier. Get away from the D.Va bomb. Crap. And we're doing good. So my decision to res back on the point right near our spawn right there was actually a really good idea. Because so many of them were out of position, we were basically able to overwhelm them with numbers. Oh, I'm sorry, Genji. We were basically able to overwhelm them with numbers and get a good push out of out of that res. Get a good push on the payload. I hate being hacked by Sombra. She hacks from so far away. Everywhere I go, there's somebody trying to kill me right now. There's a McCree on one side, Sombra on the other, and the rest of their team in front of me. And they all wanted me. I really wasn't sure where a good place to be at that point. I would have loved to have been up in the air or on the building or something. But we ended up getting the checkpoint, which is great. So I've got a nice close spawn. And we're doing really well. We're still chugging right along. They haven't managed to hold us up. We're actually pushing it a bit faster than they pushed us. So I call out Sombra because I saw her over there. Our Zarya, bless her heart, bubbles me just in case. So my team's trying to look out for me, which I really like. Come up here with Winston. I do have res, so I figure it might be a little safer. Realize there's somebody up here with him. But they run, so I fall back. Gotta do some work with the soldier. I probably should have stayed up top a little longer. But we're moving around the corner and I don't have a way to get up there. I know that I'm not going to be able to res both the Winston. So Winston died way over there. If I'd have hopped off this corner and maybe kind of jumped over that way, I might have been able to pick him up, but I probably would have still missed one of the 3 that went down on my left here. So sadly Winston was just too far forward for me to try to pick up in the res. However, I could res our second healer and both of our DPS. Sadly, when I do, Zarya instantly dies, and we have to back off. But they did use, I believe, yeah, they used nano because of my res, which is fine. So I'm sitting here trying to keep Soldier alive while Nano Winston's on him. I'm running for spawn. I'm not gonna die. Winston ults. Our Soldier's freaking out because he's getting ulted and he wants heals. And we get a free pick on the Winston, and we're good to move in now. So the res that I did to pick up the Lucio and the 2 DPS, we kind of ended up losing that fight, but my res made them use Nano and then Winston's ult. And I'm already back to 78% of my res after that. So I would call resing that worthwhile, because now they're down 2 ults and I almost have res again. Would love to heal Winston. No. So I love it when I try to stretch forward to heal a Winston, because I'm afraid he's going to die. And then he ults. And I'm sitting there like, well, you didn't really need me. I'm not pushed up too far because this is the potential to be our last fight. And I want to make sure that I don't die with res. So I'll peek out when I feel like it's safe to kind of touch up and help people out a little bit. I didn't want to solo res our Soldier, even though he was doing a lot of work, simply because I feel like this could be our last fight, and I want to save my res for when we have multiple people down on point, and it'll make the most impact. We've got beat out, we're killing everything, we're doing great, our team is working phenomenally. And we do it. We get it there with 2.5 minutes, and they only have a minute. So we're actually looking pretty good. Our attack went better than our defense. Our attack went way better than our defense did. So now we're gonna switch sides, and I think do we switch? Yeah, we defend again. So switch sides and defend again, and hopefully don't repeat those mistakes. Okay, so starting off, I'm actually playing a bit more defensively. Now, our Zarya that's up there was our Reinhardt originally. That got slept, so I'm actually kind of picking on her a little bit. I tell her not to get slept again, and she comes back. We've kept the Genji, which is fantastic. We didn't go back to Junkrat. Our Genji did so much work. He's actually a phenomenal Genji. We've got the Winston, which is really nice to kind of help with if they have their Genji again, or any kind of flankers. And I'm actually going to play it a little bit safer by sitting up here and just pocketing our Soldier for the majority of this fight. And touching up where I need to. My whole goal is to just stay alive throughout this entire first round if I can. People are already getting on critical. I love taking advantage of a Winston jump to get in the air and give myself a good aerial. So right there, I knew Tracer came up behind us. I had called her out to Soldier before I jumped out with Winston. I damage boosted our Soldier, and then looked away from him, completely 100% trusting him to kill Tracer and not let her kill me. A lot of the times, if I don't know the Soldier, or if he hasn't been performing really well throughout the game, I won't do that. But I know this Soldier pretty well. I've played with him several times. I trusted him to have my back, which let me watch the field. I want to heal Winston, but he's purple, so there's really nothing I can do about that. I'm just going to stay up here and keep our Soldier up, and touch up whoever I need to that's near point. Try to focus down whoever their Winston's on. We get the Winston dead. And we're doing really, really well. Their first push was failed, and they really don't have a lot of time to come back. They've got 5 seconds left. So we're attack visoring. We almost have res. I'm going to slip off to the back, try to stay out of sight, and just make sure that I have time to get my res up if we need to. But this fight's over. We've managed to hold the point. They're not here. We're good to go. Now, if we'd have just had a defense like that when we started, this whole game might have been a little bit shorter. So now it is our turn to attack, and let's see what we can do here. Okay, I'm going to go right in with Winston. I love jumping in with Winston right away. it gives me a really good advantage point to kind of view everything that's going on and take a look at what they have. But if he jumps out, I'm diving out. I'm not going to stay in there, obviously, unless we have another teammate perhaps that's in there. But diving with Winston's is one of my favorite things in the world to do. Damage boosting him and a good Winston. Oh, poor soldier. So our soldier just got deleted there. He was pretty much full health, and then he got discorded and damage boost headshotted by Torb, and he was deleted. I feel bad, but there's nothing I can do about that. Anyways, back to Winston. Diving in with Winston's a lot of fun for Mercies. A really good Winston will keep you alive just because of his movement and his bubble placement. Use the bubble, use his movement to keep yourself alive, and you can damage boost him and work with him and help him get killed a little bit faster. So I'm actually backing out a little bit because I do have res now, and I want to let my team know that. I hopped down because I knew there was a Reinhardt coming up behind me. I could hear him. I don't feel like there's enough value to res our Winston right here, especially since they have a Reaper. I want to hang on to res and really think about using it where it's going to have the absolute utmost value. We've only got about a minute left. So I just want to make sure that I've got that little ult in the bag, should we need it. So I really have to focus on staying alive. I'm not being super aggressive with my playstyle right now. Trying to use a lot of cover, keep myself out of harm's way, but still try to support my team as best as I can. Our Winston switched to Reinhardt, which was actually a really, really good choice against the comp that they have. And we end up with a Pharaoh, which is also really good against what they have. So here we go. We've got 30 seconds, 30-ish seconds, and we're pushing in and making sure my team knows that I have res. I'm staying up with Farah as much as I can, but I still don't want to get onto the field. So, the turret's down, and I asked our Genji to go find their Mercy, and bless his heart, he went and solo ulted her. I love him. Best Genji ever. So we've got one dead on point. I'm letting my team know that I have res. We did just drop the beat. We have a critical, which is our Reinhardt. Our Reinhardt goes down. I want to pick these two up, give us a nice advantage. We only need one tick on the point. We've pretty much won at this point. So I hope that you guys found this episode helpful. I don't feel like I talked or explained as much, but I had some really interesting reses that I felt you guys could learn from, just kind of explaining maybe why I did a solo res here or why I held my res here. I am working on a video that will hopefully be done soon that's all about how to res, when, why, when to hold it, kind of what you should be thinking about along those lines. So hopefully I can get that done in the near future. I've also got a couple of VOD reviews that I need to do submitted by viewers, so I'll hopefully be getting around to those as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below.